everyone, it's Cassie and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my February TBR and I'm so excited. If you don't know, in January I started a new TBR game. Don't really have a full name for it. A TBR dice game, roll my TBR, I don't really know. It is a super fun game where I roll one die up here and that counts for a cross, one die for down, I don't know, and where they match up, that's how we get the prompt. Somehow it got bent, so just ignore that. I'm really sad. I don't really know how that happened, but if it looks a little weird, just ignore that. Pretend we do not see her. And if you hear the wind in the background, so sorry. It's been like so loud all day, all night. Anyways, so in my first video for this game, I mentioned that I don't want to do punishments, but I want to do something. I want to have a little bit of an incentive, have some fun little twist or something to it. So I asked for you guys' recommendations and I got a few, and so thank you for everyone that recommended me something. For this month at least, I'm gonna go with suggestion from Julia, and she suggested like if I finish my TBR I get to reward myself with like buying a book or something like that. So that's what I'm gonna do this time. I don't know if that's gonna change. Just seeing how it goes. So I did finish my January TBR. Well, it is technically the last day of January that I'm filming this, but I am on my last book and I have like 3 hours left in my audiobook, so I'm gonna finish it. So I'm gonna count it. So my reward is I get to buy a book. So I bought this book in January, but I am putting it on this TBR, so you will see it once we get into the prompts. I think I'm going to maybe, for a reward, if I finish my TBR, I get to buy a book, and every extra book that I read in that month, which usually is like none, but say if I was supposed to read the 5 books and I read 6, then I can buy a book for finishing my TBR and buy another book for reading extra. I think that's a good reward. There are definitely gonna be some months where I buy more books, but this is just gonna be a way for me to try and slow down the amount of books that I'm bringing in, matching it more up with how many books I'm actually reading off of my physical TBR, if that makes any sense. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both those would mean the absolute world to me. Comment down below what's on yours February TBR. My Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Amazon wishlist will be linked in the description box below if you're interested in checking any of those out. Let's get into the rolls. I think this is the closest that I can get for you to see all of it, so sorry about that. We've got our jar of the prompts to replace them. I added some more from last month, so put those down there. And we've got green dice or die this time. I still don't know what to say. Let's roll them. The first roll is a 4. The second one is also a 4. All right, the first book is the first prompt is book in a series. For our first prompt, we got book in a series, and this one was super easy for me to pick. This is indeed the book that I bought in January, and that is The Good Girls by Sarah Shepard. This is the second book in the Perfectionist duology. If you don't know, I read The Perfectionist in January and I really liked it. It was actually the first book I read in 2022. I definitely wanted to get onto this next book. Right at the end of that book, I was like, I need the next book, so I bought it. So this is the book for January that I bought for finishing my TBR, but I bought it before I finished my TBR. But that's okay, it all worked out. The Perfectionist is about these, I think it's 5 girls who all have this connection because they all hate this one guy. And they kind of have this dream, and they have this conversation about killing this guy, what they would do to this guy, to humiliate him, and all that. And suddenly, this guy turns up dead the exact way they said they would kill him. So then they have to like figure out how that happened, because they all swear it wasn't any of them. so I gotta figure out who it was. They haven't figured out who it was, so that's what I assume the next book is going to be about. But I don't really want to read the back of this. One, I can't read it for you guys because it'll be a spoiler. Two, kind of want to go into it blind because it goes by really fast, really short. This will probably be the first book that I read in February. I'm like 99% sure. Book in a series is our first pick. Okay. We're gonna replace it with hyped book I'm hesitant about. For our top pick, we got a 2. And then down the side, it's a 3. 2, 3. Book 2 is more than 400 pages. My second prompt was more than 400 pages. This one's a little embarrassing. If you've watched my TBRs in the past, you will know why. The Beautiful by Renee Audier. Now, if you haven't watched my TBRs in the past, I put this on a multitude, many of TBRs, and I still haven't read it. So that's an issue because I really want to read this. So the fact that I haven't read this is like, what the, doesn't make sense. So I am forcing myself to read this first or second in the month. Probably second because I really want to read The Good Girls. But I have to read this second because if I don't read it early in the month, I won't read it because that's what's happened every other single time when I put it on my TBR. Other books have just went ahead of it, and that's why I didn't get into it. If I don't read this month, if you don't know what The Beautiful is about, it's about Celine, and she is a dressmaker from Paris, and she goes to New Orleans to have a little bit of a safe haven, and she's taken in by a convent. She catches the eye of Sebastian Saint Germain. Then a body of one of the girls from the convent is found in Sebastian's own lair, and she is the second dead girl to show up in recent time. Then there's a third murder, and then Celine finds herself in the sights of the murderer. Celine finally takes matters into her own hands, only to find herself caught in the midst of an age-old feud between the darkest creatures of the night, where the price of forbidden love is her life. Some people say this is a vampire book. Some people say it's not. So, it's true, vampires are back and they're more seductive than ever, from Bustle's review. I'm reading this, I swear. I swear, I'm reading this. So, 465 pages. That works for more than 400 pages. Now, let's roll for our third book. Got a 5. And a 1. Oh great. Longest book. I was hoping to never get this book, this prompt, but I guess today is the day. For the third prompt, for the third book, I got longest book, and the only reason I'm okay with getting this one is because there's this certain book, so my longest book, I actually wanted to read this month. Technically I don't own it yet because it's not out, but it still counts. House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, which is coming out February 15th, and I'm so excited. If you don't know, I read House of Earth and Blood in January, and spoiler alert for my wrap up, I absolutely loved it. So good, 100% worth the hype. We get it. I understand it now. The sequel is coming out on the 15th. It's like 700 pages. It's my longest book. 750 pages or something like that. It's my longest book by like 100 pages. And the second longest one was Midnight Sun, so I'm really glad I'm not reading that. I'm just not in the space to read that book. So in House of Earth and Blood, we're following Bryce. When we follow her first, there are some murders that are connected to Bryce in some way. The murderer is maybe thought to be caught, but isn't, because 2 years in the future, the murderers begin again when they thought they had the murderer behind bars. And so Bryce is tasked by the governor of this city to find the murderer because they think that Bryce, with her connection to the case, will have the ability to do so. But it is very, very dangerous, okay? So she is given Hunt Athalar, a fallen angel, the fallen angel, for her protection. They then work together to find the answers to this mystery, and again, so good. A lot happens in the first book, so I'm really interested to see what the second happens in the second book. Again, I can't do the synopsis for you guys because if you haven't read the first one, it'll be a bit of a spoiler. And I also haven't read the synopsis because I heard it's like not good, so I don't think I'm gonna read it before I read the book. I'm gonna pick it up literally the day that it comes out and probably start it then. That's why I want to read those past two books first, because those ones I really want to get done, and I think once I get this book I'll be very distracted by it, and it's super long, so I don't want to not get to those books because of that. So I at least want to get those two books, the first two books I mentioned, done before the 15th. I forgot to replace that one. Okay, first we'll replace the one that I was supposed to replace before, 2-3, and we're replacing it with an illustrated cover. Good thing I didn't roll that one. And then we'll replace the one we just did. 22 to read in 2022, which is a video I did. I already posted it. If you're interested, I'll link it down below, but it has a list of 22 books that I want to read in 2022. So if I get this prompt, I have to pick a book off of that list. Let's roll for book number 4. Okay, that's a 6. It rolled backwards. That was kind of interesting. And a 5. 6, 5. LGBT plus rep. For our 4th pick, the prompt is LGBT plus rep, and so, you know, I didn't really think about this when I was picking books, but February, you know, is it's the month of love or whatever. I'm single, so it wasn't even on my radar. I picked Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I've been meaning to get to this book for like a year, and I think I've put this on multiple TBRs as well. I know this is like really freaking loved. That's why I bought it like a year ago when I was getting back into reading, because I knew people love this one, so I was like, okay. And here we are a year later. If you somehow don't know what Red, White, and Royal Blue is about, it is a romance between the son of the President of the United States and a prince. The son of the president and the prince have a little bit of beef, and that gets out, and that is not good press, okay? Not good press for either of them. So they devise a plan to make everyone think they like each other and that they're actually on good terms. So there is a truce between these two men, and no one in my building knows how to close doors without slamming them. I promise you, not a single one. Anyways, so they have a fake friendship that ends up developing into love. I mean, come on, we know that it's a romance, so it's gonna develop into love. So it's like enemies to lovers or enemies to friends to lovers. It's a male-male romance, so that's the LGBT plus rep. Let's actually remember to replace it on time. The prompt is friend group. For our 5th book, first roll, I've got a 3. For our first book, for our 5th book, second roll. Oh god. Okay, we're gonna redo that. Re-roll it. 3 and a 4. Okay, for our 5th book, the prompt is one-word title. We'll replace it with booktuber favorite. And then finally, for our 5th prompt and for our final book of February, I got one word title. This one I'm really excited about because I picked Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson, and I read Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson, and I read Blackout, which she writes in as well, and I really enjoyed both of those. So I'm super excited to read this. This is also a book I've heard about since I got back into reading and when I got into booktube, but I've heard about it since then, and so I've been really excited to read it. 2022 is the year of getting to books we've been meaning to read. We can do it. Mary B. Addison killed a baby, allegedly. She didn't say much in the first interview with detectives, and the media filled in the only blanks that mattered. A white baby had died while under the care of a church-going black woman and her 9-year-old daughter. The public convicted Mary, and the jury made it official. But did she do it? She wouldn't say. Mary survived 6 years in baby jail before being dumped in a group home. There wasn't a point to setting the record straight before, but now she's got Ted and their unborn child to think about. When the state threatens to take her baby, Mary's fate now lies in the hands of the one person distrusts the most, her mama. No one knows the real mama, but does anyone know the real Mary? I have really high hopes for this month. Yeah, I guess like if I do fail February or any month that I fail in the future will kind of decide what my full out punishment maybe will be. Let's just like hope I don't have to find out. But yeah, this is my TBR plus House of Sky and Breath. We'll just pretend that this is House of Sky and Breath, but it's gonna be smaller than this because it's gonna be hardback because it's not gonna be out in paperback yet. That's about how much I have to read. I'll put a page count onto the screen when I'm editing. I don't feel like doing the math right now. We can do it. I believe in me. Please believe in me. I'm quite excited for this TBR. Comment down below what you put on your February TBR again, or if you've read any of these books, let me know what your thoughts on them were. And if you're excited for House of Sky and Breath to be released in February, also let me know because I'm so freaking excited. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both of those would mean the absolute world to me. Turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload from me, and my Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Amazon wishlist will be linked in the description box below if you're interested in checking any of those out. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!